Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so today is hello. Yeah. So today is our week 5 doubt session. So I'll start with doubts. You guys can either send the screenshot or you can mention the question number 2. So 5.8 question
5.1.
one by one. I'll take one by one. So you'll just message your doubt in the chat box. Okay. Start with Meghna's question. So it's 5.8 question number 4. Okay, so I'll just take the question. Can I share both screen? So are you guys able to see both screens?
Yes, ma'am.
One which I shared and what's this? Okay. So question number 4. So if the domain of composition function is minus 2 comma infinity and f of x is equals to 1 by x square, then which of the following options can be g of x? Okay. So here f of x is given to be. Is my screen is visible to you guys? The other screen where I am writing?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Only the
Only
question.
one screen.
No, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay.
we can only see
Yes,
question
ma'am.
screen.
Yeah, you can see the question. I'll just paste the question. I'll write it down and then we can figure out. Also, you guys can also see the question on your device too. Okay. So here it's given that one function is 1 by x square and the domain of f composition g is minus 2 comma infinity. Now we have to figure out what is g is. So here there are several options, but uh, see, in this domain, so there is one option, option number 3. Right. So in option number 3, in option number 2, g of x is given to be under the root of yeah. So in option number 2, g of x is given to be under the root of x plus 2 upon 5 of x. Right. So here you can easily see that g is not defined at point x is equals to 0. So that means obviously x is equals to 0 is not there. So that is 0 is not there in domain of g. So we know that the domain of f composition g is a subset of domain of g, right? So we do know these two things, that domain of f composition g is a subset of domain of g and domain of g composition f is a subset of domain of f. Why is this so? Because first of all, we have to apply g on x and then we have to apply f on g of x. So if g is not well defined at x, then we cannot, then this g of x does not make sense. So that's why domain of f composition g is a subset of domain of g. So in the option number 2, this function, this g of x function is not well defined at 0. So that means this option is already discarded because 0 is there in our domain, 0 is there in f composition g domain, but it's not there in the domain of g2, right? So that means this option is obviously not true. Now we can select the other options too. So if you consider the first option, the A option, where you can consider g of x to be under the root of x plus 2 by 10, right? So what you guys think? What is the domain of g here? What's the domain of g here? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Them all real line.
Yeah, see, here we have under the root of x plus 2. So what we want this quantity to be greater than or equal to 0, right? So that means here domain of g will become that all those x where x plus 2 is greater than equal to 0. So that means x should be greater than or equal to minus 2. right? So domain of G will be closed interval -2 to infinity. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Huh. So here domain of G is closed interval -2 to infinity. Now what is f of x? F of x is 1 by x square. Okay. So here f of x is 1 by x square. So if you consider this to be your g of x, then we have to this to be your g of x. So that means this function to be your g of x and this function to be your f of x. Then we have to compute the domain of f composition of g, right? So the domain of f composition of g will be a subset of domain of g. So that means it will be a subset of closed interval -2 to infinity. Now the only thing we need to check is it defined at -2 or not? If it is defined at -2, then we are done. If it is not defined at -2, then that means -2 is not there in the domain. Okay. So first of all, g of -2 is what? So g of -2 is under the root of x plus 2 by 10. Right? That means under the root of, in place of x, I have to write down -2. So that is g of -2 is actually equal to 0. Now is this f of 0 is well defined? So the answer is no. Right? Because yeah, f of x is 1 by x square. So f of 0 is not well defined. So that means option A is also incorrect. Fine. Now let's go to the other options. So option A is incorrect, option B is incorrect. Now what happens if we consider g of x to be option number C? So let us assume that your g of x is actually equal to 3 upon under the root of x plus 2, and your f of x is given to be 1 by x square. Now in this case we have to figure out what is the domain of f composition of g. Okay. So here what is the domain of g? Can you guys tell me now? What is the domain of g?
R minus 2.
Are you sure? We also have under the root
Greater
function.
than -2, minus at 0. Minus at minus. Ma'am, greater than -2.
Correct. That is strictly greater than -2. So here what is happening? We need to find domain of g. Domain of g means those values of x where this function is well defined. Now in this function, what has happened? First of all, it's a rational type of function. So we don't want denominator to be equal to 0, right? So we don't want, what is the denominator? We don't want under the root of x plus 2 equal to 0, right? So this thing we don't want. So that means you have to remove. So that means if you take x is equals to -2, this under the root of x plus 2 will become 0. So that means at x is equals to -2, this function g of x is not defined. Right? Because at x is equals to -2, this denominator is becoming 0. So obviously we have to remove the point x is equals to -2. And now other thing is we have under the root of x plus 2. Right? So at where this function is not defined, this under the root is not defined. So this is not defined if we take the value of x plus 2 less than 0. So that means we want x plus 2 to be greater than equal to 0. So that means we want x to be greater than equal to -2. But we also remove the point x is equals to -2. So that means the domain of the function g is actually open interval -2 to infinity. Okay. So now what is f composition of G's domain? So it's obviously the subset of domain of G. So that means -2 to infinity. And it is already given that this domain is actually -2 to infinity, right? So that means domain of f composition G will become -2 to infinity. This is given in the question. So that means this option is correct. So that is third option is correct. Is that okay, Meghna? Is that okay to everyone? Any doubt? Why I'm saying option number 3 is correct? Have you guys gone through week 5?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So there is one more option which we have to check. So in this case, g of x is uh, under the root of 2 minus x, and f of x is 1 by x square. Now here we have to figure out what is the domain of f composition of g. So what is the domain of g? So again, we have under the root function. So we want this quantity to be greater than equal to 0. So that means 2 minus x should be greater than equal to 0. So what does this means? This means that we can take the value of x to be anything which is less than 2. Right? Here the first option is actually correct, but Yeah, sorry, here I have missed one point, but yeah, we can think. So here domain of G will be all those values of x where 2 minus x is greater than equal to 0. So that means 2 is greater than equal to x. Right? So that means domain of G is all those x which are less than or equal to 2. So that means domain of G is minus infinity to 2 close. Right? So we can take any number which is belongs to minus infinity to 2 close. So that means obviously this option is incorrect because domain of F composition G is given to be open interval minus 2 to infinity, which is not a subset of minus infinity to 2. Okay, so that's why this option is incorrect. The first option is actually correct, which I have told that's correct. So this is incorrect. The first option is actually correct. In the first option, they have given g of x to be under the root of x plus 2 upon 10 and f of x to be equal to 1 by x square. Right? And then they say that the domain of F composition G is open interval minus 2 to infinity. So this is actually the correct answer. Why is this so? So see, here domain of G means what? We want this under the root quantity to be greater than 0. So domain of G means x plus 2 to be greater than equal to 0. So that means x should be greater than equal to minus 2. Okay. Now here, if you consider if x is equals to minus 2, you consider, then you will get G of minus 2 is equals to 0. Right? So that means, and if g of minus 2 is equals to 0, this will implies that f of g of minus 2 doesn't make sense. Right? It's not well defined. Because this is becoming 1 by 0. So 1 by 0 is not well defined. So that means you have to remove x is equals to minus 2 point from the domain of G. Right? So this will implies we have to remove x is equals to minus 2 from the domain of G. So this will imply that the domain of F composition G is nothing but open interval minus 2 to infinity. Okay, so this is same as open close interval minus 2 to infinity, but we are removing the point x is equals to minus 2 2. Why is this so? Because we want f of g of minus 2 should be well defined, but g of minus 2 is 0 and f of 0 is not well defined. That's why you have to remove the point minus 2 2. Okay, is that clear? Fine.
Yes, ma'am, it's clear. Ma'am, can we know the link for the recording of today's lecture?
Yeah, can someone share it or else I have to ask?
And last lecture link is also not there in the calendar.
Last lecture link is also not there.
Yeah, the summary of week 5.
Uh, yeah, it's not there. I have uploaded the notes, but I haven't. Okay, I'll ask them to upload the link over calendar.
Okay.
So this question is done. Now let's go to practice assignment 5, question 5 and 6. Okay. So you guys can locate the questions. Okay, I'll just write it down the question and try to, you can figure out to solve it. Okay, so next question is practice assignment 5, question number 5. Okay, so n of 1 by lambda is the number of atoms at the time t is equals to 1 by lambda.
Ma'am, actually 6 and question number 10. 5 I've written by mistake.
Okay, 6n.
Ma'am, 6 and question number 10.
Okay, yeah. So it's a long question. I think I should take screenshot and paste.
Ma'am, question number 6 is about the Selvi deposits P rupees in the bank.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so I'll just read the question in case of wasting it. It's taking time. So here it's given that shall we deposit the P amount in the bank? Okay, so first of all, it deposit the P amount uh, in the bank A, which provides an interest rate of 10% per year. Okay, so shall we deposit a P amount in sorry, it's a rupee. So that is P amount in a bank A, and it provides a 10% interest rate. Okay. Uh, this is interest rate per year. So after 10 years, she withdraws the whole amount from the bank A and deposit it into the another bank B for n years, which provides an interest rate of 12.5% per year. Then what happens? She just withdraw this amount from the bank, and this is happening after 10 years. Okay. So after 10 years, she withdraw this amount and deposit into another bank B, which provides the interest rate of 12.5%, and she this deposit is made for n number of years, so n years, right? So in that means, in bank A this deposit remains up to 10 years, and in bank B this deposit remains up to n years. So it's given in the question. I'm just reading the questions. Now here it says that MA of X represents the amount in salvage account after X years of deposit in bank A. So that means here we have two functions. One is MA of X. So MA of X is actually represent the amount in salvage account after X years. So this is amount in bank A after X years, right? So you guys are familiar with the formula, that principal amount P, uh, and how it grows if you have the interest rate and all those things, right? So that means if your amount will be the principal amount, whatever you have deposit in the bank, plus with some interest rate, and this can be computed by 1 plus you have some interest rate here upon 100 to the number of years, right? So here if you have deposited for so it's given that for X number of years, so that means here you will take X, MA of X. So in place of M, you can say that MA of X is actually equal to P. I'm taking P because in the question it's given that shall we deposit P in a bank A. So that is principal amount is P itself. That's why you have to take P. Now plus 1 plus interest rate. So in a bank A, what is the interest rate? So the interest rate is 10%, right? So that is 10 upon 100. And MA of X is actually amount in a bank A after X years. So that is number of years is only X. So it stays X it is, right? So here your MA of X will become
Ma'am, won't it be 10? Like time to be 10 because he deposited for 10 years.
yeah, time. Oh, yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I'm just saying that MA of X, this as a function, obviously we have to figure out what is MA of 10 is, because after 10 years, so that means at 10 years, what will happen,
Oh, okay, ma'am.
right? But it's as a function, if you consider X number of years, then you have to take X, only, right? So this is P plus 1 plus, this will be 0.1 to the power X. So that is MA of X will become, this is 1 plus 1 to the power X plus P. Or I can write it down as given in the option, that P into 1 plus 1 to the power X. Okay, so this is your function MA of X. Now you can find out MA of 10. So that means what is the amount she withdrawal from the bank after 10 years. Just by substituting in place of X, you can substitute 10 and you can get that amount. Is that okay? Clear? So now
Yes, ma'am.
we will go to the other options too, but first of all, figure out the functions. So this is your MA of X. Similarly, we will calculate MB of X. So that is MB of X will be the amount in the bank B after X years, right? So this is the given, right? So here MA of X represents the amount in Selva's account after X years of deposit in bank A. MB of Y represents, so in place of X they have taken Y actually. So MB of Y represents the amount in Selva's account after Y years of deposit in bank B. Okay, so this amount in bank B after Y years. Right. So when she deposit the amount in the bank B, then the principal amount is not P. it's something which is after 10 years. So that means principal amount plus the amount she paid after 10 years, right? So that means we have to compute what is the amount.
So ma'am, MAX will become its principal.
Yeah, so that is MA10 will become its principal amount. So this will be the principal amount for bank B. Right. So MA of 10 we can compute just P into 1.1 to the power 10. So here you can compute MB of Y. So this function will look like that P into 1.1 to the power 10 into 1 plus, here the interest rate is given to be 12.5. So that is interest rate is 12.5 upon 100 into Y. Right. So we can solve it. So it's P into 1.1 to the power 10. I'm sorry, I think in plus, yeah, we have plus here, na? I just write down the multiplication sign. So this is plus actually. So that is P plus, and this also plus. And plus of, this is 1.1 plus 0.125 to the power Y. So you can write it down that your MB of Y will be P plus 1.1 to the power 10 plus 1.125 to the power. So this is the function MB of Y. Okay. So now let's look at the options. So we have two things. So we have figured it out that MA of X will be P plus 1.1 to the power X. So this represents the amount in bank A after X years. And MB of X, MB of Y is actually P plus 1.1 to the power X plus 1.125 to the power Y. Okay. So this is the amount in bank B after Y years. Okay. So here the first option says that MA of X is one function of X for X belongs to open interval 0 to 10. Okay, so what do you guys think? So option A
Ma'am, I
says
think it's
that,
correct.
yeah, it's correct because we have an exponential function, right? A to the power X function. And A to the power X plus some constant. So constant doesn't matter that much, right? Constant means just you are scaling your function. So MA of X is actually P plus 1.1 to the power X. And this is an exponential function. So obviously it's a 1 function. So that's why option A is correct. Okay. Now option B is also correct in the same manner because option B is what? So MB of Y is what? So this is option B. So option B says that MB of Y is also a 1 function of Y. So this is also correct because here the variable is Y, right? Here X will be first fixed and then Y will be decided. I'm sorry, I have written X here, but it's actually 10. Yeah. See? 10. Okay. So here MB of Y is also some constant plus the exponential function. Right? So here this is nothing but a constant value. And here we have an exponential function. And we know that exponential function is a 1 function. So that's why MB of Y will also be a 1 function. So this is also the correct option. Is that clear to everyone? Any doubt?
Ma'am, can you please
Yeah,
explain
I'll
it
repeat.
once?
Yeah, I'll repeat. So see, what happens? So there is a person who, Selvi, who deposits some amount in bank A, right? And the rate is interest rate is 10% in that bank. Okay. And now after 10 years, she withdraw her amount and deposit into another bank B, which provides the interest 12.5%. So we know that the current amount in any bank, if the interest rate is given, then can be computed by this formula. It says that the principal amount plus 1 plus the interest rate, and here X will be the number of years. Right. So it's given in the question that MA of X is a function which represents the total amount deposited in a bank A after X number of years. So here principal amount is already given and it's P itself, and here interest rate is 10%. So we just substituted 10 and X as it is we have written. So that means after computation we get MA of X is P plus 1.1 to the power X. Similarly, what she did after 10 years, she withdrew his amount from bank A and deposit it into another bank B. Right. So that means for the bank B, the principal amount will be P plus 1.1 to the power 10 because this is the amount she will get from bank A. This is the final amount she will get from bank A after 10 years. So this will become the principal amount for bank B when she deposit the amount. So that means this is the principal amount she deposit into bank B. So here the function MB of Y will actually represent the amount in bank B after Y number of years. So here this will work as a principal amount, and then the formula as it is, that principal amount plus 1 plus interest rate upon 100 to the power number of years, right? So here we are taking y number of years, so that's how you can compute MB of y. Now there are several options regarding MA of x and MB of y we have to figure out. So option A says that MA of x is a 1 function, and this is the correct option because MA of x, you can see it's nothing but an exponential function, a to the power x function, right? And we know that a to the power x function is a 1 function. So that's why this option is correct. Option number A is correct. Now similarly, option number B says that MB of y is also 1 function. So here you can see that this is nothing but a constant value. And here you have an exponential function, a to the power y, right? So again, exponential functions are 1. So that's why this option is also correct. So the B option is correct. Now what does the C option says? So C option says that MA of 12 is equal to P into 1.1 to the power 12. Right? So MA of 12 is actually not P multiplied by 1.1 to the power 12. The reason behind this is since after 10 years she withdrew all the amounts from bank A. Right? So this is not correct because she withdrawed, right? It's given in the question, right? Yeah. So she withdraws all amount from bank A after 10 years. So that means there is no balance because MA of x is what? It's a function which shows us the amount in the bank A after x number of years, right? So since she already withdrew all the amounts from bank A after 10 years, so that means the amount left there in bank A after 12 years, on the 12 years actually 0, right? So that's why this C option is incorrect, and in place of C, the D option is correct. D option says that MA of 12 is equals to 0. Is that clear why I'm saying that C option is incorrect? Okay. Yeah.
Was MA of 12 P plus 1.1 to the power of 12.
No. See, in the question, it's mentioned that after 10 number of years, she withdrawed all the amount. So that means MA of X represent the amount in the service account after X years. So after 12 years, there is no amount in her account. So that's why MA of 12 is actually 0, not P into 1.1 to the power 12. Is that clear now?
Okay.
So that's why D option is correct. Now here we have other options. So this option says that MA of x is strictly increasing function of x for x belongs to open interval 0 to 1. Okay, so here it says that MA of x is increasing function in open interval 0 to 10. So this is also a correct answer because see, what is MA of x? MA of x is actually given to be, yeah, so that's why they have explicitly mentioned the domain, because if you take MA, if you compute MA of 11 or MA of 12, it will become 0, and this option is not correct. So that's why they have given you, whenever they ask something about MA of x, they have given the range, given that x belongs to the open interval 0 to infinity. But because if you compute MA of 11 or MA of 12, it will become 0. Okay, so that means MA of x is increasing in this interval 0 to 10. So MA of x is what? It is P plus 1.1 to the power x, right? And it's an increasing function in the interval 0 to 10. So that means this option is correct actually. Okay. Now the next option says that MB of y is a decreasing function of y. So this is incorrect, right? Because MB of y is also an exponential function, and here the value of a, that means your exponent, is bigger than 1. So when the exponent is bigger than 1, we know that it will always an increasing function. So here MB of y is what? It is P plus 1.1 to the power 10 plus 1.125 to the power y, right? So this is just a constant, so it doesn't affect the function. We just have exponential function here, and with the value of a is so here what is your exponent is 1.125. It is greater than 1. So whenever we have exponential function with exponent's value is greater than 1, that function is increasing function, not the decreasing function, right? We know that two graphs are there. So this is the graph when the value of a is between 0 to 1. So this is a decreasing graph. And when the value of a is greater than 1, it's an increasing function. So that's why this option is incorrect. Okay, because it says the decreasing function. I'll go to the next option. So next option says that MB of n was actually equal to P into. So they have, yeah, P into. Yeah, I think in the option, yeah, sorry. I think we have here multiplication only. Can you guys recall the formula? Because I think now I am confused that there is multiplication here and addition here, or addition here and multiplication here. What is the formula? Let me check by myself. Just
This is like
yeah, so there is multiplication here, right? So here we have
yes.
multiplication, and in the bracket we have addition.
Yes, please.
This is multiplication. Then it also become multiplication.
Yes.
Yeah,
ma'am.
originally I have written right. So everywhere we have multiplication. Okay. So the option number G says that MB of n is actually equal to P into 1.1 to the power 10 into 1.125 to the power n, which is actually correct because MB of n is given like that. MB of y is given like that. Right? So MB of y is actually P into 1.1 to the power 10 into 1.125 to the power to the power y. So in place of y, we have replaced with n. So that's why option number G is correct. And option number H says that MB of n is actually equal to P into 1.1 to the power n into 1.125 to the power 10. This is incorrect because MB of y in y. So if you replace y, this y, then you have to take power here, not here. Right? So that's why the option G is correct and this is incorrect. Okay. I hope that's clear. Is that okay? Fine. Yeah, you guys can
Yes,
unmute
ma'am.
yourself because. Okay. What's the next question, Meghna? This is question number 6. Question number 10, right? Are you
Ma'am,
here?
5.1.
Yeah, I was going one by one. So I have discussed question number 5. So I'll come to that too. Am I audible? Yeah, I think I'm audible to others.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Yeah. So we have one question in the chat. So here it says which of the following function is a decreasing. Okay. So we have to figure out decreasing function. Okay, so I'll take one by one. So the first option says f of x is equals to 4x square plus 4x plus 1 for all x belongs to real number. Okay, so this thing also you have to consider that which point they are asking. They are asking for all x belongs to real number. So what do you guys think? Is this a decreasing function or not?
No, ma'am.
No, right? Because it's a parabola and it's an upward parabola, so you can easily draw the graph. So this is the graph of parabola, right? So it is decreasing from minus infinity to 0 and not from 0, whatever the vertex is, and then it's increasing. Obviously, it's not entirely decreasing graph, right? Because of parabola, not decreasing. For all x belongs to real number, obviously. Okay. Now the second option says f of x is equals to 7 minus 3x. Okay. So here also you can draw the graph. So this will be a straight line and this will be the line like something. So this is y is equals to minus x line and we have to add it by 7 units. So this will, so it's a straight line with y-intercept to be 0, 7 and you can find out the x-intercept. So your x-intercept will be something like 7 by 3. Yeah. So this is the line passing through 0, 7 and 7/3. Now this is the decreasing function. Why it's a decreasing function? Because you can see the graph. It's going downwards, right? So that means as you increase your x, the value of y is actually decreasing. So here you can see, here if I take two different values of x, suppose this is your x1 and this is your x2. And if you compare the values of y, so this is your f of x1 and this is your f of x2. Right. So here I'm taking x1 less than or equal to x2, but what I'm getting f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. Right. So that means f is decreasing. So that's why this is a decreasing function. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Similarly, the third option is f of x is equals to minus 2x cubed. Right. And this is also for all x belongs to real number. So see, f of x is equals to minus of 2 of x cubed. This is also a decreasing function because we can easily prove it. So if you consider x1 less than or equal to x2, then we know that cube follows this inequality. If you take x1 less than or equal to x2, x1 cube will also less than or equal to x2 cube. Right? x1 cube is also less than or equal to x2 cube. Is that clear? Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, here, if you multiply by minus 2, so whenever you multiply by minus sign in an inequality, that inequality actually reverse. So that means minus 2 of x1 cube is greater than or equal to minus 2 of x2 cube. So which means that f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. Why I'm taking equal to sign? Because at 0, both can, yeah, but fine. So ultimately, what we assume that x1 less than or equal to x2 and we prove f of x1 is greater than or equal to f of x2. So that means here the inequality is changing. So that means our function is decreasing. Is that fine now? Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the last function is f of x is equals to 1 by x. F of x is equals to 1 by x. And here they say for all x belongs to real number minus 0. Right? Because at 0 the function is not defined. It's a basic function. The graph of function you can see. This is the graph of function. Right? In the both cases, you can observe that if you take values to be x1 less than equal to x2, the respective y values will also reverse the inequality. So that means suppose I'll take one value here, x1, I'll take another value x2 here. So this is the value of function f of x2. This is not a decreasing function, right? This is not a decreasing function. This is your f of x1. So here what I have taken x1 less than or equal to x2. But what I am getting, I'm getting f of x1 also less than or equal to f of x2, right? Because this is a negative quantity and this is in the positive axis. So that means here inequality is not changing. So that means f is not decreasing.
And we have to see both the graphs, like the on the first quadrant and in the third quadrant together.
Yeah, we have to see because see they have said that x not equal to 0 only. You have to take all real numbers not equal to 0. So that means you have to consider the negative real numbers too.
Okay.
Because obviously
And
if you consider only positive, it will become decreasing.
yeah, okay. If it is not mentioned, like we have not to include 0, then it will be decreasing.
No, if it is not mentioned, then also you have to take whole real number.
Okay.
Whenever it's not there, if they haven't mentioned any specific value of x or any specific range
Okay.
of x, you have to
Yeah.
consider whole real numbers.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Fine.
And I
Yeah.
was having a little doubt. Like we say now that if the function fails the horizontal line test, then it is not 1, 1. So
Yeah, correct.
basically, that is because the graph of the function is cutting that. The line is cutting the graph at 2 points.
Yeah.
So if the graph is touching at only 1 point, then we say that is 1, 1. And if it is not
Yeah.
touching at any point, then also it's 1, 1.
Yeah, then also it's 1, 1.
How, ma'am? I was not clear about this point. Like, if it is not touching it, then how we can prove that it is 1, 1?
So see, if it's not cutting, that means that value of y is not attained. That's all. So you can consider the graph of y is equals to under the root of x, right? So this function has graph like this. Right? Because obviously under the root of x function is not defined at negative values. So this is the graph of under the root function. Now here if you draw this horizontal line y is equals to -1, it's not intersecting the graph. So that means you cannot attain y is equals to -1 output for any value of x. That's what it means. But if you consider then here there are several lines which can intersect the graph at exactly at 1 points. So this is a 1 1 function, right? So if a horizontal line is not intersecting the graph, means simply you are not getting this quantity as your output for any value of x. But 1 1 means if you take different inputs, the output should be different, right?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so this doesn't harm the definition of 1 1 if any horizontal line is not intersecting.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. This question is done. Now I'll go to the next question. So this question says that if p of x is equal to 7x to the power n plus 9x to the power 5 plus 1, so this is n, right? This is n. Plus 1 be a polynomial, and it says that x goes to minus infinity, implying p of x also goes to minus infinity. Okay. So then which of the following is are true? That's what we have to say. Okay. So here p of x is given to be 7x to the power n plus 9x to the power 5 plus 1, and x goes to minus infinity implies p of x also goes to minus infinity. Then the first option says n is strictly greater than 5 is even. Okay. So can we take any value of n which can possess this property, and not any value, that means even value of n with this condition. So I think we can take, right? No, if you take even, then obviously, but
But this
yeah,
condition
we
is
can
not
take.
satisfied.
Sorry, what? We cannot take, right? Because see, if you take
Yes,
any
ma'am.
even value, then p of x always goes to infinity as x goes to infinity, because the leading coefficient will be positive, right? So
Yes,
here, if
ma'am.
you take any even number, so suppose you can take n to be 6, you can take n to be, right, 8, 10, and so on. But no matter what even number you will take, we have a polynomial p of x to be 7x to the power n. So this will be your leading coefficient with even degree, right? So that is plus 9x to the power 5 plus 1. So here your an will become 7, which is strictly greater than 0, and it's an even polynomial, right? So whenever we have even polynomial with an to be strictly greater than 0, end behavior will look like this, right? So that means as x goes to infinity, as x goes to minus infinity, p of x always goes to infinity. Okay, so that means that's why this option is incorrect. That we cannot find any value of n for which p of x possesses this particular thing, that x goes to minus infinity implies p of x goes to minus infinity. That's why this option is incorrect. Now the second option says when n is strictly greater than 5 is odd. So this can be done, right? You can simply take n to be equal to 7, the next odd number. Then your p of x will become 7x to the power 7 plus 9 x to the power 5 plus 1, right? And here if you take x goes to minus infinity, p of x also goes to minus infinity, right? Because it's a odd polynomial with a positive coefficient, so it follows the, so that means as x goes to minus infinity, p of x goes to minus, it follows the graph of x cube, right? So that's why this option is correct. This we have choice of n here. You can take any odd number as is greater than 5, that will work. Now the third says n is
Just a graph for second case.
sorry, what? Yeah, I'll discuss
Ma'am,
again second case. Yes, in second case it says that you can take any value of n which is greater than 5 and odd. So this is correct because you can take any value of n. If you take any value of n which is greater than 7, again the leading coefficient, your en will become 7, which is greater than 0, and it's an odd polynomial, right? Odd polynomial with greater than 0 coefficient follows the graph of x cube. So in graph of x cube, as x goes to minus infinity, p of x goes to minus infinity. So that's why this option is correct. I have just taken one example, n is equals to 7. In place of 7, you can take 9, 11, or any odd number. No matter what you will take, again, your leading coefficient will become 7, which is positive. So that's why it goes to minus infinity as x goes to minus infinity. Is that okay? Clear?
yes, ma'am. Ma'am, as it is in the graph, one side is upward and one side is downward.
Yeah, if the coefficient is positive. if an is strictly greater than 0. If an is less than 0, then it reverse the change. So that means you have to consider the graph of minus x cube, for example. Okay. Now third option says n is irrational. But we know that it's a polynomial. It's already mentioned that it is a polynomial. So in a polynomial, the power of x can't be irrational. So this option is incorrect. This is incorrect since px is polynomial. So that means all powers of x should be natural number. Okay, so that's why this option is incorrect. That p of x cannot, that means the value of n cannot be irrational. Now the fourth option says n is equals to 0. Okay, so let's see if you put n is equals to 0, p of x will become 7 into x to the power 0 plus 9 x to the power 5 plus 1, which is what? Which is 9x to the power 5 plus 7 plus 1, which is 9x to the power 5 plus 8. Right? And here also, as x goes to minus infinity, p of x is going to minus infinity. Right? So that means n is equals to 0 will work. So you can have so there are two correct options. One is n is strictly greater than 5 and another one is n is equals to 0. Is that
Okay,
clear?
ma'am.
Fine.
Yeah, yeah. And ma'am, there was a statement in the lecture that only one functions are inverse. So how we prove this?
Yeah, see, actually what happened if a function is not 1 it cannot be invertible. So inverse means what? You should be able to move in both directions. So that is domain to codomain, and there should exist another function which will reflect the behavior of f. Now what happened if you have a function f which is not 1 So not 1 means there are two different inputs, right? X1 not equals to x2, for which you have one single output, y, right? Now here if you want to reflect the behavior of f, then you have two choices, which will give us the ambiguity. And also inverse function means those functions which are 1 plus onto. So if a function is not 1 it cannot be invertible, because here you will get ambiguity while making the inverse. While you create the inverse function, what should be your output with respect to this y input, right? It's not clear. That's why it's can't be invertible. Fine.
So it should be one also and onto also, both.
Yeah, both properties should be there.
Okay. And ma'am, there was a statement that why is e so important? So e is basically exponential function. So can you explain this concept that why it is so important?
So see, the E is important because it reflects in so many physical, practical phenomena. So there are several equations like heat equations, or there is one pendulum equation, right? If you have a pendulum and if you want to compute what they said altitude or something, then E is there. So actually, this number E reflects in so many physical formulas, physics formulas. So that's why it's so important.
They gave us the example of the compound interest something.
Compound interest also. So I don't remember, but the compound interest formulas look like a sequence, right? So 1 plus 1 by that 1 plus
Yeah.
yeah 1 plus 1 by n to the power x, right? And if you take the limit, this goes to e to the power x. So the compound interest formula look like this. So that's also. But the thing is, E actually appears in so many physics formulas. So if you know in your 12th standard also you have come across some of the formulas which involve E. So that's why this number is important. Mathematically, it's just a number between 2 and 3. Any irrational number between 2 and 3. Not
Okay,
any
ma'am.
irrational number.
Yeah. And ma'am, why 15 into 8 raised to power minus x is exponential? How can you explain, please?
Which thing?
15 into 8 raised to power minus x.
15 into
8 raised to power minus x. So
this is
this was
what?
an exponential function.
Yeah. Sorry. You said 15, na?
Yeah.
So 15 into 8 to the power minus x, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you can change this. This is exponential function because see, 15 is just a constant. There is nothing much than in 15. So it looked like exponential only. So it's just a constant into a to the power minus x type of function. So in place of minus x, you can replace it. So let's try to decompose it. You can replace it by 15 into 1 by 8 to the power x. Right? Both things are same. Because whenever you have minus sign, you can change it by reciprocal, right? So that is a to the power minus x is same as 1 by a to the power x. So that's
15
what we can do.
basically
Just
affects
a
the
constant.
stretch factor, like the stretch
Yeah.
factor.
Like the stretch factor.
Okay.
So
And
that's
ma'am,
why it's an exponential.
yeah,
Yes.
activity 5.4, question number 2.
Okay, yeah. 5.4 na?
Yeah.
So if f is from real number to real number defined by f of x is equals to 2 to the power x minus 32, which of the following is are true about f of x? Okay. So x-intercept you can count, right? So x-intercept means that value of x where graph intersect. So that means just substitute y is equals to 0. So x-intercept will be 2x 2 to the power x minus 32 is equals to 0. So that means 2 to the power x should be equal to 32. And we know that this will happen when you take x is equals to 5. 2 to the power 5 is actually 32. So that means x-intercept is 5 comma 0. This option is correct. Now what is y-intercept? Y-intercept means the value of x you have to take 0. So that is y-intercept will be y is equals to 2 to the power 0 minus 32. That is 1 minus 32. That is 31 minus 31. So y-intercept is minus 31, minus 0 comma minus 31. So this is y-intercept. Okay.
Ma'am,
So y-intercept is given wrong. Yes. Okay. Now the next option is asymptote. So I haven't discussed this asymptote, right? So y is equals to minus 31 is the horizontal asymptote.
so basically we can find the asymptote by putting x is equals to 0. Oh, yeah, by x-intercept.
Uh,
No, y-intercept, yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah, so not the y-intercept actually. So what is asymptote means? See, asymptote is those type of lines which feels like those lines will intersecting the graph at infinity. For example, if you consider the graph of e to the power x, so then this graph would look like this, right? So here what is happening? This x-axis seems to be intersecting the graph at infinity. It actually never intersect the graph, but it seems to be getting more closer and closer to graph as you go in this direction. So this x is equals to 0 line will known to be the asymptote for the graph e to the power x, right? So here what it says that y is equals to minus 31 is the horizontal asymptote. So we have to figure out if you draw y is equals to minus 31, is it behaving like the same thing as like this x-axis? So here the answer is no, right? Yeah. So here this y is equals to minus 31 is the y-intercept. So that means here this graph is intersecting the point at y is equals to minus 31. Right? So if you draw the line, it's not behaving like an asymptote. Asymptote means such a line which seems to be intersecting the graph at infinity. Right? As like in this graph, this x is equals to 0 line, not x is equals to 0, it's an x-axis. So y is equals to 0 line. So this y is equals to 0 line seems to intersect the graph at infinity. So such type of thing is not happening if you consider y is equals to minus 31, right? So this y is equals to minus 31 will intersect the graph because the y-intercept is y is equals to minus 31. So it's not the asymptote, horizontal asymptote. But y is equals to minus 32 will be an horizontal asymptote. Why is this so? So see, your graph is f of x is equals to 2 to the power x minus 32, right? So now what you have to figure out that as x goes to infinity, where does y actually goes? So this thing you have to check. So see, if x goes to infinity, this f of x is going to infinity, right? So that means in this direction you won't find any asymptote. Like in this graph here, you can see as x goes to minus infinity, then e to the power x is going to 0, right? So that means as you move along the direction of minus infinity, then the value of e to the power x is getting more closer and closer to 0. So that means y is equals to 0, line will work as an asymptote. So in this graph, as x goes to infinity, 2 to the power x will goes to infinity, so minus 32 doesn't make that much of difference, right? So ultimately f of x goes to infinity. So that means in this direction you won't get any asymptote. Let's check the other direction when x goes to minus infinity. So when x goes to minus infinity, where does f of x goes? So as x goes to minus infinity, 2 to the power 2 to the power x goes to 0. Correct? As x goes to minus infinity, 2 to the power x will goes to 0, because here you will get very lesser power of 2. So ultimately you will approach 0. And also you can see the graph of 2 to the power x. So 2 is a exponent which is greater than 1. So graph will look like this. This is the graph of 2 to the power x. So as x goes to minus infinity, this graph is approaching to 0. Right? So that means here you can see that but 2 to the power x goes to 0, but your f of x is 2 to the power x minus 32. So that means f of x goes to 0 minus 32, which is minus 32. Right? So that means y is equals to minus 32 will work as an asymptote. This is your asymptote.
We can find any vertical asymptote as well.
Yeah, so this is the calculation for finding horizontal asymptote. Right? So I'll just make the remark.
For horizontal, we need to treat with x.
Yeah, horizontal asymptote. So for this thing, you have to find x goes to infinity. Where does f of x goes? Right? So if it is a finite value, then that line is an asymptote. Okay. S goes to infinity, sorry, I have written 0. And similar for x goes to minus infinity. Okay, as x goes to infinity or x goes to minus infinity, if you find out any finite values, then that will work as a horizontal asymptote. And for vertical asymptote, you have to figure out such a kind of lines where again the same type of behavior, that it seems to be intersecting the graph at infinity. You can see the graph of f of x is equals to 1 by x. Right? So vertical asymptote you can find by graph.
Can we get both the like x is equal x tending to infinity also makes fx tending to minus infinity, like something like both the situations together?
Yeah, so see, this is 1 by x graph. So here both the axes will work as an asymptote, the x-axis as well as the y-axis. So in this graph, the x-axis and y-axis both works as an asymptote.
Okay, ma'am.
So asymptote means you have to figure a line which seems to be intersecting the graph at infinity, something like that. That's our actually asymptotes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so whenever you have exponential function, you can find out just by taking limit x goes to infinity or limit x goes to minus infinity.
Ma'am, can you please explain first question also?
Uh, the same activity.
Yes, ma'am, same activity.
Okay, so the first
Ma'am, I
question
have a
says,
doubt in activity 5.8.
yeah, after this question, I'll go to 5.8, or else shall we move along the chart, because that will be much better.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just take this last doubt and then I'll go along the chart. 3 to the power x plus 20. So f of x is 3 to the power x plus 20. Which of the following is the domain and the range of the function f respectively? Okay, so see, it's an exponential function. So the domain will be whole real number. There is no doubt. Whenever you have e to the power x function, see, addition of constant or multiplying of constant does not affect the domain. It can affect the range, but it obviously does not affect the domain. So your domain will always become real number. It can affect the range, right? So range. So here you know that as x goes to infinity, this f of x goes to infinity only, because it's 3 to the power x plus 20. So that means you can also check the range by the graph too. It's actually easy to draw the graph of 3 to the power x, right? 3 to the power x plus 22. So what is the graph of 3 to the power x? So here 3 to the power x we have, that means a is greater than 1. So that means the graph will look like this. But we also have a jump of 20, right? Plus 20. So whenever you add a constant, this graph actually jump 20 units above uh, where it usually placed. So that means here, if the y-intercept is 1 comma 0, then here the y-intercept the y-intercept will be 20 units above. So that means the y-intercept will be 21 comma 0. Just 1 plus 21. Just shifted 20 units above. Okay. So here your range will be now 20. So this is y is equals to 20, because as x goes to minus infinity, 3 to the power x goes to 0. So that means the function will goes to y is equals to 20 points. So here your range will become open interval 20 to infinity. Okay, so domain is the whole real number and range is open interval 20 to infinity. I'll just take a moment to show you guys how the graph will change if you add or subtract any constant or multiply and divide any constant in both the coefficient x and y. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible. Yes, Ananya. So see, I'll just take the same graph y is equals to, we have 3 to the power x, right? So this is the original graph which is at the point 0 comma 1. Yeah, I have written it down a little. So this is 0 comma 21. This is 0 comma 1. Yeah, so this is your graph 0 comma 1. Now what happens if you add 20 in this? See, your graph will just jump 20 units above. So now here is your graph at 21 comma 0 comma 21, right? And this happens for any general function. So if you have the graph of general function f of x is equals to, I'll take just a very simple graph. So suppose y is equals to 3 you have, right? And here if you add 20, this graph will jump 20 units above. In place of that, let's take x square graph. So you have x square graph, right? Here if you add any constant, suppose I have added constant 5, then it jumps over the 5 units. So this is your initial graph, y is equals to x square, right? So there is a difference of 5 units. Now in place of plus 5, if you do minus 5, so that means if you have x square minus 5, then the graph will will get shifted downwards uh, with the 5 units, right? So that means this is your original graph, the blue one, and this is the green one graph, so which is shift of minus 5 units. So that is shift of 5 units in the negative y direction. And this happens for any graph. So if you have an original graph e to the power x and you have to add that constant, that got shifted to 5 units above or 5 units below. Okay. So here we are adding or subtracting constant in y. In place of that, if you change the graph in x, so that means in place of x, if you replace this x by x plus 5, then the graph will shift in the right direction or the left direction. So if you add plus 5, if it will shift it over the left direction. And if you add minus 5, it will get shifted toward the right direction. Okay, so see, if you do minus 5, it will get shifted toward the right direction. So if you add or subtract any constant in x, in place of x, if you replace it by x plus c, it will get shifted over in the x-axis. Depends, if you add it, it will shift toward the left hand side, and if you subtract it, it will shift toward the right hand side. But if you add or subtract any constant in y, so if you add any constant in y, it will shift it towards the it will got shifted above the y-axis or below the y-axis, depend on you have added or subtracted. Okay. So here you have added, same thing you can do for subtraction too. If you subtract by 5, this graph will be shifted 5 units downward the y-axis. Okay, and the scaling is true for in general any graph, no matter what you have graph. So suppose you have the graph of e to the power x and you want to find out the graph of e to the power x plus c or something else, then the only thing you need to do is just shift it over the x-axis or y-axis depending on the things. Okay. Fine. So graded assignment 4, I'll take graded assignment question at the end. Okay, Deepak, just mention me at the end.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
can you please solve the practice assignment Question 7 and 8.
Yeah, 7 and 8. I'll do that. I'll just move along the chart. So someone says 5.8.
Yes, ma'am. Activity 5.8.
Yeah,
Question 1.
Ma'am,
5.8.
here, if as here the 2 to the power x is plus 20, then there is no x intercept. In the previous example where 2 to the power x minus 32, then there was a x intercept. It means that if there is a minus c to the power x minus c, then there could be a x intercept. If
No.
there is a
Here also. So see, in this graph, this 3 to the power x plus 20 also you have asymptote. Right? So this graph is something like this. Because here also, if x goes to minus infinity, this line y is equals to 20 will work as an asymptote. Because as x goes to minus infinity, 3 to the power x goes to 0. So that means y goes to 20, a finite value. So y is equals to 20 will be an asymptote.
Ma'am, I am asking about x intercept. Yes,
Sorry,
you have
what?
it. Ma'am, it is right, but I am asking about x intercept.
X
So,
intercept, right?
yes, ma'am. In the case
Huh.
of 2 to the power x minus 32, there was a
Yeah,
x
yeah,
5,
yeah,
but here
correct.
in the addition,
Here
in
we
the
don't have. Yeah, here we don't have x intercept.
we can say that if we are adding something to the power x, then there is no x intercept.
Yeah, correct. If you have plus constant, then there is no x intercept because graph will move very far away from x-axis, so it won't intersect the x-axis at all. Right? Yes. Which question? 5.8. Question number.
Ma'am, question first.
First. Okay. So here it's given if f of x, g of x, you just have to compute f composition.
Yes, ma'am. I'm not able
Ashish,
to
your voice is not clear.
compute.
Ashish, your voice is not at all clear.
Ma'am, ma'am, now I'm audible, ma'am?
Yeah.
Hello. Yes, ma'am, I
Yes.
am asking, have you explained the question number, actually, activity 5.1?
Yeah, I have taken. If you have a doubt,
What
just mention in the chat. Now I'll go along the chat only. Because if I move like this, then there
Ma'am,
is no answer.
explain, then I will see the recording. No, actually, ma'am, due to some network issue, I have get it out from this Zoom meeting, so that's why I'm
Okay.
asking.
So which question you have asked? 5.1?
5.1 phone number.
Fourth, na? Yeah, I have explained it. Let
Okay,
me check. Yeah, I have explained this question.
okay, ma'am. So I will check the video there.
Yeah. So here you just have to compute the composition, right? So it's only 1 upon x plus 1. So in place of x, you just have to mention x plus 1. So it will become 1 upon x plus 1 plus 5 and 1 upon x plus 1 minus 4. So just do the calculation. It will become 5x plus 5 plus 1 upon x plus 1 and then 1 minus x minus 1 upon x plus 1. So x plus 1 cancel out. We have 5x plus 6 upon minus x 1 and minus 1 cancel out. And there is no option like this. So that means there is a ambiguity in this question. Yeah. None of the options are correct, right? That's the point you want to make, right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So this the question is incorrect. So in place of maybe minus 4, they are asking about 4. So if you consider plus 4, then let's see what will be the answer. Yeah, the answers are given to be wrong. There is some sign is missing in the question, I guess. So in place of minus 4, if you consider plus 4, I think they have made a error in minus and plus in f of x maybe. So plus 1 you will get. So this will become 4x plus 2. And again, there is no option. So yeah, this question is incorrect. 5.8.
And ma'am, question number 4 of same activity.
Yeah. Question number 4. So if the domain of composite, yeah, this question we just discussed. So in the recording, you can see here the option first and option number 4 is correct. No, 4? No, sorry, option number 1 and option number 3 is correct. So that means you can take g of x to be equal to under the root of x plus 2 upon 10. And you can take g of x to be equal to 3 upon under the root of x plus 3. These two options are correct. I just discuss it. You can just go and check the recordings, okay? Okay, so I'll take questions from the chat and 5.2 question number 3. So now the next question is question 5.2 QT. Question number 3. Okay. So which of the following function is decreasing? This also I just discussed. Just check the recording. Which of the following function is decreasing? Sorry. So you can check that. 1, 4 we discussed already. This question is incorrect. Shelly, you whatever screenshot you have pasted, this is incorrect question actually. The options are not correct. Okay. Do you have other doubts too in the same question? So first is incorrect. Yeah, only first question is mentioned.
Ma'am, actually, I want to show the solution of this. How we calculate FG.
You want to see the solution, right? Solution?
How to calculate the composition.
Yeah, just replace x by f of x. See, we have to compute f composition g of x. So f of, in place of x, we write f of x, right? So in place of x, replace g of x. So that is replace 1 upon x plus 1. And then in f of x, whatever x is there, replace that by 1 upon x plus 1. You can compute f composition g, right? As like I had it here.
Ma'am, what do
So,
you say? Can you please repeat?
yeah, see, here you have to compute f composition g of x, right? So in place of f of x, you will just take f of g of x, right? What is g of x? So f of g of x. So g of x is 1 upon x plus 1. So that means you have to compute f of 1 upon x plus 1. So in f,
Means in place of x, we have to put 1 upon x plus 1 in fx.
correct. Yeah, that's all. And then you have to just calculate it.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So this is also done. This question I have just discussed, yeah. So you can just go and check. So I'll practice assignment question number 7 and okay, so question number 7 is little long, so let's see. Okay, so let's see what they say. I'm not pasting a screenshot, I'm just verbally describing the question. You guys can see. Okay, so there are two offers in a shop. So in the first offer, the discount is total payable amount in is a mn% if the number of product bought at a time is n. The second offer involves a discount of 1,000 on the total payable amount. So if Geeta shops of 15,000, so the answer of the following question. Okay. So first of all, they says that that the discount in total payable amount is mn%. What is this mn%? We will figure. So mn% is if the number of product bought at time is n. Okay, see, I will see what is this. And then they say that this is the first offer, and the second offer is just the discount of 1,000 rupees in total payable. And they say that Geeta bought 15,000. Geeta shops of 15,000 rupees. Then we have to answer some questions. So question number 7. So question number 7 says if the total payable amount after paying the first after applying the first and the second offer one at a time, so are represented by the function fn and gn respectively, and the total payable amount after applying both of the offers together is represented by T of n, then choose the set of correct options. Okay. Okay. So first thing is without any offer, the payable amount is 15,000, right? So this is 15,000 is the amount without any offer. Now here we will use the offer. Here, if you apply the first offer, then we have to figure out what is the first total payment amount, right? And this is mn of percent. Mn percent. If the number of product bought at a time is n. So we have to figure out if we bought of 5,000 product, then what is that mn percent? Yes, second offer is so that means amount after applying second offer is kind of clear. So first of all, g of n, which is actually the function. If you apply, what is this g of n? G of n is represent the function after applying the second offer, right? So second offer is kind of clear. It's simply 15,000 minus 1,000, which is 14,000. But the first, so this is the amount after applying the second offer. But f of n is the amount when you apply the first offer. And first offer says that the discount in the total payable amount is mn percent if the number of products bought at a time is n. Okay, so it says that mn percent if n is the number of products. They should have mentioned here that number of product means cost of product. So if the cost of product is 1,500, then mn percent is the, or you can say, discount, right? Okay. So you can check the mn percent, but what is the meaning of percent here? They are asking about. So mn percent means, so what is the 1% of 15,000? So 1% of 15,000 is what? So it's 1% means only just 15,000 multiplied by 1 upon 100. That's how you calculate the 1% of any amount. 1% is actually 150 rupees. So that means mn percent of 15,000. Okay, so then what is mn percent of 15,000? So mn percent of 15,000 means 15,000 multiplied by mn upon 100. Right? So this is only 150 of mn. So after applying the discount point, what will be the price? So that means here f of n will be, the original price will be 15,000, right? And minus of 150 of mn. Now here what is mn, that we will figure out later. But that's what the meaning of mn percent of, right? Mn percent if n products they have. I think mn will be something related to number of products or something. But they have mentioned mn percent. So let's take it mn as it is. So that means g is kind of clear. G of n is 14,000. But f of n says that f of n is the price after applying the first offer, and the first offer is the first offer says that discount in the total payable amount is mn percent if the number of product bought at time n is. So first of all, the 1% of 15,000 is 150 rupees. So that means what is the mn percent of 15,000? So mn percent of 15,000 is 15,000 multiplied by mn upon 100, which is 150 of mn. So that means the function f of n will become 15,000 minus 150 of mn. Okay. And the function g of n is 14,000 because the second offer is 1,000 off. Is that clear? Fn and gn so far?
Ma'am,
Okay.
FN 150.
See, 150. See, MN is just, I think it's just an alphabet type of thing here they are using. So they say that you will get discount of MN%. So here the percent is not specified, like 10%, 20%. Such type of thing is not specified. In place of that, they have just written MN, right? So if you have an amount and if you want to calculate the percentage, that's how you calculate, right? So the 1% of 15,000 is 15,000 multiplied by 1 upon 100, which is 150, right? So what will be the MN% of 1500? Like you can say that in place of MN, you can consider a particular number. So like what is the 20% of 15,000? Right? You'll calculate it 15,000 multiplied by 20 by 100. Right? That's how you calculate it. Yeah. So
Okay.
similarly, what is the MN%? MN% will be 150 times MN.
Also,
So
we can calculate na 100 minus 20.
you can also calculate the 100 minus 20 upon 100 multiplied by 15,000. That's also correct. So no matter what you will take, you will, yeah. So if you use that formula, I think you will get like this. So it is 100 minus MN multiplied by 150. Or if you have 15,000 here upon 100, you'll get something like this. Right? No matter what formula you will use, ultimately Fn will become 15,000 minus 150 of MN. Because that's the meaning of MN% of payable amount, right? Okay. Now it is TN. TN says that total payable amount when the first offer and the second offer both are applied. Okay. So if the first offer and the second offer both are applied, then we have to. Okay. So if you apply the second offer, now the total payable. So let me explain by writing. So now here, what is T of N? T of N is payable amount.
Payable amount 140.
Yeah. If you apply both offers. Right. So if you apply second offer, total payable amount now reduces to 14,000. Then you have to apply MN% of 14,000 now. Okay. So initially, so that means if you apply second offer first, then the total payable amount will reduce from 15,000 to 14,000. And now on this, you have to apply second offer. So second offer says that MN% of this 14,000. Right. So MN% of this 14,000 will be what? So that is, yeah. So this means 14,000 minus MN% of 14,000. Right. This is the amount you will get after applying both the offers. I am applying the first offer first because the calculation is easy. We just have to subtract 1,000 and you will get the payable amount. And now on this one, if you apply the second payable amount, what will be the answer you will get, right? So here, right. So we have to subtract from 14,000 the MN% of 14,000. So what is MN% of 14,000? So MN% of 14,000 is actually equal to, this is equal to obviously 14,000 multiplied by MN upon 100. So this is what? 140 of
140.
MN. Yeah. So that means after applying both the offers, the now new total payable amount is 14,000 minus of 140 of MN. Okay. So this is your T of N. So T of N is 14,000 minus 140 of MN. Okay. Is that clear so far? I'll repeat again. So see, here there are two offers applicable in the shop. One offer is you will just get MN% of discount whatever price you will bought. So for example, if someone bought 100 rupees stuff and there is 10% discount, so what is the 10% of 100 rupees? 10 only. So they will reduce by 10. So same thing here, MN is nothing you can consider as a number. So MN% means maybe 10%, 20%, 15%, something like this. So this is the first offer. And the second offer says you'll just directly subtract it by 1,000. So that means there is 1,000 off. So this is your second offer. Now Fn of x, Fn of n actually denote the number of, actually denote the function, actually denote the payable amount after applying the first offer. Okay, so if you apply first offer, then whatever remaining payable amount is, that is denoted by f of n. Okay, so After applying first offer means if you bought of stuff of 15,000, then mn% of 15,000 is 150 of mn. Right? You can calculate by this thing, or you can directly calculate by just percentage thing. Right? mn% of 15,000 will become 150 of mn. So this is your total payable amount after applying the first offer. Now this thing is total payable amount after applying the second offer, 14,000. Just directly 15,000 minus 1,000, 14,000. Now TN says you have to apply both the offers. So what I did, I applied first offer first. So I apply the second offer first. That means reduction of 1,000. And then I apply second offer, which says that the mn% of the payable amount. So that is the mn% of 14,000 minus the mn% of 14,000, which is 14,000 minus 140 mn. So this is your T of n. Okay, so now let's see the options.
Options.
Yeah. Did I did something wrong?
Option 3 or 5.
Okay, yeah. Total payable amount, first option I applied. Okay, so it says that f of n is 1,000. I'll go option by option. So the first option is this much. Okay, so option number A says that f of n is equal to 100 minus mn
Correct.
multiplied by 15,000. Right? So this is and gn is 14,000. Right? So this is not correct, right? We have this is not the correct answer because 15,000 is multiplied, but in place of mn we just have 150, right? So we have 150. So that's why this
Yes, ma'am.
option is incorrect. Now go for B. B says that B just replace it by 500 and G of is also there. B is also not correct. You can easily see. Let's go to the option number C. C is correct, right? Because in C, Fn is given to be 100 minus Mn multiplied by 150 and G of n is given to be 14,000.
No.
Right? So this is the correct option. Yeah. Any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the correct answer. Now the next thing is, okay, so there are actually two ways to compute T of n. If you apply first offer first and then apply second offer, or if you apply second offer first and then apply first offer. Okay, so there are two ways. So what we have computed, we have applied second offer. Yeah.
Ma'am, third option should be correct, but it is showing that third option is not correct.
Yeah, third option should be correct. Yeah, third option should be correct.
Third or fifth option correct, right?
Yeah.
But it is showing
Third
that third
option is correct.
option is not correct.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
there is some missing. Third option should be correct, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
they must have missed it. But
Third
third
option
option is
correct,
correct.
but
So what we have yeah, third option is correct. Yeah,
yes, ma'am. But
that they
answer
haven't
not
picked it
visible.
correct.
That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fine. So let's complete it. Right? Yeah.
Wrong answer mentioned. Option 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Option 6 answer showing. Wrong answer.
6 is also correct, right? When the second offer is applied after
Five
the
is also
first.
correct.
That is also correct. 6 is also correct because see, first we have computed if we apply second offer and then first offer. So if you compute like this, your T of n will become whatever we have computed. This 14,000 minus 140
It's the wrong answer. Fifth option.
Fifth option is also correct, right? So because it's yeah, because see the order is different. If you apply first offer and then apply second offer, yeah, then fifth option is incorrect, right? If total payable amount when the first offer is applied after no, see fifth option is correct, na? That's what we have computed.
Yes,
First offer applied after the second offer. So here first offer applied after the second offer, then your T of n will become this. So that means
ma'am.
fifth is correct.
Correct.
And
Yes,
sixth
ma'am.
also correct.
It's
Uh-huh. If you apply
correct.
first offer first and then apply second offer, That means what you have to do, your T of n simply become whatever Fn you will get minus of 1000. Right? So
Sixth
Fn is
option,
15.
second offer is applied after the first.
Huh.
After the first.
No, what does it say? Fifth option says first offer is applied after the second. See, in
No,
the
no,
fourth and
option number shift. Correct,
option number
but
6 says. Yeah, option number 6 says.
option number 6 wrong.
No, it's correct.
Correct. Okay.
Because see, option number 6 says first you have to apply the first offer and then you have to apply the second offer. So first you have when you applied the first offer, you will get f of n to be total payable amount, and from this f of n you have to subtract 1000. So now you will get f of n minus of 1000. So that is 14,000 minus of 150 of mn. So this is now total payable amount if you apply the first offer first and second offer afterwards.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Fine. Now 8th question says if Geeta is allowed to use the offer in any sequence and mn is something given already, where n is 6, 7, 8 and 9, then choose the set of correct option which minimizes the total payable amount, right? So here you just have to do the calculation, I think. But let's see. Okay, so we have two things. We have two Tn's. So let's see, let's say T1 of n is actually when we apply the first offer first and then second offer. So that is 14,000 minus 150 of mn. And the total is, and the second one is when we apply second offer first and then the first one, it is 14,000. Start 14,000 minus 140 mn. Okay, and for mn they have given a quadratic expression. So that means now T1 of n will become 14,000 minus of 150 of mn is minus n square plus 8n minus 72. Okay, and T2 of n also we similarly can calculate 14,000 minus of 140 minus of n square plus 8n minus 72. Okay, so we'll see. So choose the set of correct options which minimize the total payable amount. Okay, so the total payable amount is same irrespective of offer in which the offers are applied. Okay, so here see what we have done. So here you can see if you apply first offer first and then second offer, so it's like a composition of two functions, right? So that means here your T of n is becoming nothing but C composition of f of n. Right? You're taking g of n and you're first computing f of n and then applying g of n. Because what is g of n? G of n is whatever total payable amount you have minus of 1000. Right? So here you have total payable amount x type of thing or mn of 15,000 minus 1000.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So something like this. And if you apply the second offer first and then apply the first one, so then T of n is something like G composition f of n. But this n doesn't make sense that much. But yeah, we have in place of n, maybe we have to replace mn.
Second offer.
Okay. So now we have to see in which way the cost will be lesser. Okay. So here this 14,000 minus we have something. So multiplying by 140 will give us the less offer of
Yes, ma'am. Multiply by
140, right?
yes, ma'am.
But why is that the case? So let's try to simplify it. We have to simplify it and then we will get some quadratic equations. So just simplify. T1 of n will become 14,000 minus 150. That simplification you have to do. So I'll just write it down what is the calculation is. So it's 150 of n square minus 700 of n plus 24880. Just simplify it, okay? Just multiply, open the bracket, solve it, and then you will
Yes,
get. I think this is already given to me. Plus.
ma'am. N बराबर 6.
Yeah. So here, see, this is a parabola, this is a parabola. For a parabola, you can find the minimum value. So this parabola will have the least minimum value. So here, if you calculate the least minimum value, you will get the things. Okay. So this will give us the least value. So that means what is T2 of n? T2 of n means you're applying the second offer first and then the first offer. So this is F composition G of Mn. So this option is correct, right? So what is this option? The second option, right? She should offer
Option second.
1 and then 2. Option second is correct or?
Yes, ma'am. Option second correct.
Okay.
Ma'am.
If she offers 1 and the other offer, the minimum payable amount will be this. Okay, just do the calculations. You can easily figure out which option is correct actually. I haven't done the calculation, but I have told you how to
According
find.
to me, I calculated and fourth option is also correct.
Fourth
Ma'am,
option is also correct.
N बराबर 460.
Okay. Fourth option is also correct. Let me see.
Option. No, ma'am. Fourth option wrong.
Yeah, because if you compute T2 of 9, that is giving you the lesser amount. No, that's a good amount, right? Minimum payable amount will be. No, see here they have says if she choose offer 1 and then offer 2, right? So in this sequence you have to compute. So if she choose offer 1 first and then offer 2, then what is your T of n? Then your T of n will
Minimize
become.
the total payable amount. Minimize.
Right. So then your T of n will become this 14,000 minus 150 of mn.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And here the minimum payable amount won't be that equal. So here if you take the value of n to be 9, so that is 14,000 minus of 150 of 9. Because the vertex is becoming 9, that's why they have taken 9. So you can compute that this of no, it's correct actually. See.
Ma'am, option number 4 correct.
Option number 4 is getting correct. Yeah, that's correct. Option number 4. Because not 9 you have to compute. You have to compute m of 9. F of 9 or what? Yeah, this fourth option is actually correct. I'll do the computation. They haven't mentioned that the fourth option is correct, right? That's your point, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, see, what is happening here? So I'll write down the direct expression which we already got. If she choose offer 2 and then offer 1, then this T2 of n is actually equal to. I'm writing the direct expression after putting the value of mn. This is 252 of n plus 24080. Is this correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And if she takes the first offer first and then the second offer, then this is 150 of n square minus 2700 of n plus 24800. Okay. Now what is happening? Both are obviously downward parabola. Both are upward parabola. So minimum value happen at vertex n. So what is the vertex for both? Okay. So we have to compute the vertex. So T2's vertex is minus b by 2a. So that is minus b will become 25 upon 2 into 140. Right? So we just have to cancel it out. Is it 9? It's not 9, right? Let's do the calculation. That is 152 is 252 divided by 20. It's 9.
100.
So for T1, the vertex will be minus b by 2a, which is equal to 27 by 2 into 150. Okay, so it's also 9. So that means both vertices 9. So that means at n is equals to 9, both are getting the minimum value. Now what is T2 of 9? So T2 of 9 is 140 multiplied by 9 square minus 25, 20 multiplied by 9 plus 24080. So let's compute it. So it is 140 multiplied by 81, right? Then minus of, so this is 11340 minus of 2520 multiplied by 9, 22.
46760.
Sorry, what? And this is what 240, na? So 1134 0 minus 22680 plus 24080. Yeah, so it's coming to be 12,740. And T1 of 9, if you compute, then it's actually coming to be 12 of this thing. 12 of 650, right? So that means if you apply second offer first and then the first offer, then the amount is this amount, 12 of 740. And if she apply the first offer first and then the second offer, then this is the amount, 12,650. So that's why the last option is also there, right? Now the last option is also correct. It's not mentioned, but yes, it is correct. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just try it out once again and then you can. And it's a lengthy question. First of all, you have to figure out F and G, and then you have to go for T, and then compute the vertex and all those things. Just try to do it by yourself first, and if you get any confusion, you can see the recordings. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Sagar.
Where should we get the PDF of these?
I
Ma'am,
will
here,
upload over the calendar. In the calendar, you can find the link there. Okay.
Ma'am, there is a question about horizontal line test and vertical line test. There is a condition if a graph passes the horizontal line test, but it fails vertical line test, just like a parabola which opens in a right direction. In that case.
Yeah, but this is not a function, right? Because at one point, you're getting two inputs. So one input, sorry, we're at a point you are getting two different outputs. So it's not a function. So if a function fails the horizontal line test, it's not a 1-1 function. But if a function, if a graph fails the vertical line test, it's not even a function. So we cannot talk about the 1-1 function at all. So that means.
So, ma'am, our primary condition is that it must pass the vertical line test.
Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Vertical line test is for checking functions, and horizontal line test for 1-1 function.
First check vertical line test, then go for horizontal line.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Question number 6 already done. 5.1, question number 1. Go ahead. 5.5, question number 1. Okay, so here they have already given you the formula of S. S is equals to A bracket of 1 plus R to the power N, where R is the increase rate per year N is the number of years from now, and A is the present value of one share of the stock, and S is a value of one share of the stock after n years from now. Okay, so what they have asked, suppose that a stock price continue to increase at the rate of 5% per year. Okay, so here rate is given to be 5% per year. Okay, and if the value of one share of stock is 1000 at present, so that means A, that which is the present value of the one stock, is given to be 1000. Right? Now then find the value in rupees of one share of the stock 2 years from now. So that means what you have to take? You have to take n to be equal to 2, and then you have to find the value of S. So S is simply A bracket of 1 plus R to the power n. That is 1000. And 1 plus 5% means 5 to the power n, so which is 2. So you will get 5 plus 6 to the power 2, so that is 6 to the power 2 is, okay, so I think there is mistake. R is what? R is increase rate per year.
0.05 or
Upon 100 we have to take, right? Because 5% is given.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is 1000. Yeah, the same formula what we applied for compound interest. 0.05 the whole square
yes,
is
ma'am.
100, 1.05 the whole square. So you can compute it. What is
1,000 into 1.102.
1.102? Yeah, the square,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
1.102 multiplied by 1000. So this is 1102. This is the
1102.5.
02.5. Okay, so this is the value of S.
Okay,
Is
ma'am.
that
Thank
okay?
you.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you,
Any
ma'am.
other question? Any other questions from any of the activity?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so if you guys don't have any doubt, then that's all from my side too. But if you have any doubt, I'll be here for next 10 minutes. You can just ask. Now that week 4 graded assignment, you can ask. Was there Dheeraj, right? Yeah, Dheeraj or someone.
Ma'am, I asked that.
Yeah, Deepak, yeah.
Ma'am, week 4 graded assignment.
So which question?
Question number 5. The magistrate of road transport and highway.
Yes, just give me 1 second. Week 4's graded assignment deadline is over, right?
Yes, ma'am. Deadline 7th. No, 2nd July.
2nd of July. Which question? Question number?
Question number 5. The magistrate of road transport and highway wants to connect 3.
So Polynomial obtained. Yeah, there is.
1 minute, ma'am.
Yeah, I got it. The Ministry of Road Transport, no? The Ministry
Yes,
of
ma'am.
Road Transport and Highway wants to connect the 3 aspirational districts with the 2 roads, R1 and R2. The 2 roads are connected if they intersect. Okay. So the shape of the 2 roads R1 and R2 follows the polynomial curve f of x is this and g of x is this respectively. Okay. So that is the road R1 follows the curve f of x to be equal to x minus 19 bracket of x minus 17 the whole square, and g of x to be equal to minus of x minus 19 into x minus 17. And they say that 2 roads intersect, if 2 roads intersect each other, then they are connected. Okay. So what will be the x coordinate of the third aspirational district if
My
the first?
question fx different number.
So
fx
actually
बराबर
what happened, yeah, in graded assignment they might change value. So what's your f of x?
f of x x minus 50
50 15.
15 x minus 15 ब्रैकेट में और उसके बाद x minus 13 होल स्क्वायर.
सेम यहाँ पे भी ना.
Okay, okay. And gx minus x minus 1 5
Hmm.
and x minus 1 3 gx.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, what we can do, we can find the intersection point of these two roads. So where these two roads intersect, because what it says that what will be the x coordinate of the third aspirational district. Okay, so
Yes, ma'am.
there are three districts which are which are at the intersection points, right? So highway wants to connect three aspirational districts with two roads, R1 and R2. Okay, so first of all, let's see what are the intersection points of these two roads. So that is what are the values where f of x is equals to g of x, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So that is x minus 15, x minus 13, the whole square is equals to minus of x minus 15 into x minus 13. Okay, so now what we
Yes, ma'am.
can do, yeah, so we'll just take this whole thing over here. That is x minus 15, x minus 13 the whole square plus x minus 15, x minus 13 is equals to 0, right? Why I'm doing this?
Yes.
Because if you cancel out, then you won't get all the values of x. That's why. So x minus 15, x minus 13, I'll take common. Here I'll get one bracket of x minus 13 and plus of 1, which is equal to 0. So that is x minus 15, x minus 13, and this is x minus 12 is equals to 0. So that is the values of x will be 15, 13, and 12. Right. So the x coordinate of the three districts will be the 15, 13, and 12. But 15 and 13 are the x coordinate of these two ones. So that is what is the leftover is 12. 12 will be the x coordinate of the third aspirational district. Okay, is that fine? Because
Yes,
15 and
ma'am.
13 is already given. These are the intersection points, right?
ऑप्शन मतलब आंसर मतलब आंसर फिल किए थे हम 12 लेकिन फिर ऑटोमेटिक चेंज हो गया आंसर दिखा रहा है 40.
ओ आंसर ऑटोमेटिक चेंज हो रहा है। हाँ मैंने ये कंप्लेन किया था उनको कि आंसर ऑटोमेटिक चेंज हो रहा है बच्चों के इसमें, बट अब पता नहीं वो लोग ठीक किए या नहीं।
यस मैम, मैंने 12 फिल किया था और फिर सबमिट करने के बाद जब जब इसका आंसर शो हुआ तो फिर उसमें मेरा दिखा रहा था 14 में, लेकिन अब मेंशन किया था 12.
अब नेक्स्ट टाइम क्या करो तुम लोग ना, स्क्रीनशॉट लेके रखो ताकि हमारे पास प्रूफ है कि हाँ ऐसा हो रहा है करके। मैंने उन लोगों को 2-3 बार बोला है पर होता
और
सीरियस नहीं होते। तो
और एक
सागर
बार
नेक्स्ट
क्या
टाइम
हुआ
ना
था मैम, मेरा
ऐसे।
ये ओके मैम,
हाँ 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 हाँ
और एक बार मेरा ये स्टैटिक्स में सबमिट कर दिया फिर भी दिखा रहा था वहाँ पे रेड कलर का, फिर उसके बाद 48 आवर 72 आवर्स के बाद ठीक हुआ वो.
हाँ हाँ। तो जब भी ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट सबमिट करो ना, तो एक बार सबमिट करने के बाद आता है ना, तो वो तुम स्क्रीनशॉट लेके रख दिया करो,
ओके मैम. ओके.
है ना? तो क्या प्रूफ रहेगा कि तुमने ये सबमिट किया था बट तो भी आंसर जो है वो तुम्हारा गलत रिफ्लेक्ट हुआ है। तो नेक्स्ट टाइम हम लोग वो स्क्रीनशॉट के साथ में मेल करेंगे तो शायद तब थोड़ा ध्यान दे ना।
ओके मैम. ओके.
जस्ट मेरे को बताना नेक्स्ट सेशन में, नेक्स्ट लाइव सेशन में, ऐसा अगर फिर
ओके
से हो
मैम,
तो।
ये मैम ओनली मतलब उसमें भी दिक्कत आता है, ये एक्टिविटी क्वेश्चन भी जब अटेम्प्ट करते हैं ना तो उसमें भी कभी कभी
हम्म
दिक्कत आता
हाँ बस स्क्रीनशॉट लेके रखो ताकि हमारे पास दिखाने को रहे कुछ। मैंने बोला है 2-3 बार पर अब वो था
है. हमको
शायद,
लगा था
पता
कि
नहीं।
कुछ नेटवर्क का इशू होगा बट नेटवर्क का तो
हम्म
कोई इशू नहीं था. सही.
नहीं नहीं, ऐसा बहुत लोगों के साथ हो रहा है, 2-3 लोगों ने कंप्लेंट किया है ऐसा।
यस मैम, ऐसा बिल्कुल होता है, मेरे साथ भी कई बार हुआ है।
हम्म
और वही
हाँ
हम
तो
सोचे
अब
कि
स्क्रीनशॉट ले लो एक बार, तो क्या हमारे पास वो प्रूफ रहेगा ना कि हमने ये सबमिट किया था बट बाद में ये आंसर दिखा रहा है, तो शायद वो लोग थोड़ा सीरियस लेते थे।
ओके.
ठीक है, पर तो भी मैं इन्फॉर्म करती हूँ टीम को कि ऐसा हो रहा है अभी भी।
ओके
हम्म।
मैम, एक क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 है जिसमें अ, उसमें फॉर्मूला यूज करेंगे तो आ जाएगा ना, जो SSE का फॉर्मूला, सम
हाँ
स्क्वायर एरर.
हाँ एसएससी का फॉर्मूला यूज करोगे तो आ जाए। क्वेश्चन नंबर 7 सेम ग्रेडेड असाइनमेंट का ना।
हाँ यस मैम.
हाँ जस्ट फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करो, फिर तुम्हें एक पॉलिनोमियल मिलेगा सी के फॉर्म
हाँ.
में। तो फिर सॉरी हाँ वो
ओके.
पैराबोला मिलेगा। तो वो तुम्हारा अपवर्ड पैराबोला रहेगा, तो वहाँ जो मिनिमम वैल्यू तुम्हें सी का निकालना है वो मिल जाएगा वर्टेक्स के कोऑर्डिनेट के थ्रू।
यस मैम, ओके मैम, मैं एक बार और सॉल्व करूँ।
हाँ, क्योंकि एसएससी के इसमें वो स्क्वायर आता है ना, तो स्क्वायर से वो सी स्क्वायर बन जाएगा और पैराबोला मिलेगा। तो पैराबोला का
और
वर्टेक्स का कोऑर्डिनेट पे मिनिमम वैल्यू।
और ये जब Q2 होगा तो उसमें मतलब इतना लॉन्ग कैलकुलेशन वाला भी क्वेश्चन रहेंगे क्या?
नहीं नहीं नहीं, इतना ज्यादा लॉन्ग कैलकुलेशन वाला नहीं रहेगा।
ओके मैम, ओके।
हाँ।
मैम
एक
एक डाउट था। जैसे हम कोई क्यूबिक फंक्शन है या फिर 4 डिग्री का कोई फंक्शन है, तो इस केस में अगर हमको वन वन फंक्शन चेक करना है तो हमें ये पता है कि उसके जो रूट्स हैं, जो रफ डायग्राम बनाते हैं
हाँ हाँ
फैक्टर निकाल करके, तो उसके अकॉर्डिंग हमें पता है कि वो वन वन फंक्शन नहीं होगा मोस्ट ऑफ
हाँ
द केसेस। तो हम
हाँ।
सिर्फ तो बार बार चेक करने की जरूरत है नहीं हमें
नहीं
कि
नहीं
हम
नहीं,
हर
बार
बार
बार नहीं
फैक्टर।
चेक करना। देखते से ही बता सकते हो कि ये वन वन होगा या नहीं होगा।
यस मैम, तो यही बात कंफर्म करनी है। ओके, थैंक यू मैम।
है ना? ठीक। ओके
ओके, गुड नाइट मैम।
ओके, गुड नाइट।
Ma'am, can I ask my doubt now?
Yeah, Deepak.
Okay, ma'am, it was with grade assignment question 10.
Question number 10. Can
Yes.
you state the starting of question? Because
Okay, ma'am. The height of a roller coaster at a given time is modeled by.
uh, yeah, just 1 second.
I'm sure I share screenshot.
That will be better. Share the screen. I'm checking although. So polynomial. Yeah, I'm not getting that. Just share the screen.
Okay, ma'am.
So the height of a roller coaster at a given time is modeled by the polynomial function h of t is like this. So where t represent the time in second. Find the turning points of the height function. Yeah, see here you just have to draw the polynomial. Na? See, it's given in the factored form. H of t is equal to minus 0.01 t cube plus 0.35 t square minus 3.5 t plus 10. Okay, this you have. Then have t plus 5 the whole square, t minus 5, and then t plus 1, and then 2 minus t cube. Okay, so yeah, here you can find out the turning points, right? So this is a cubic polynomial. So obviously either it could have one real root, and so as like from just by observing you can see that if you substitute t is equals to 10, I think you will get a root, right? So just say polynomial, just substitute t is equals to 10. Then here minus 0.01, 10 cube will be there. So 10 cube will be 1000 plus 0.35 10 square minus 3.5 of 10 and then plus 10. So this is 1 plus 35 minus 35 plus 10. Not 1, 10 minus 10. So minus 10 plus 10 minus 35 cancel ho jayega. So t is equals to 10 is one root. And now just divide by the factor t is equals to 10. You will get a parabola. So from that parabola, you can calculate two other factors. So I'll just see what's the two other factors are.
Okay, ma'am.
So let's give you, this is minus 0.01 of t cube, and then we have plus 0.35 of t square minus 3.5 of t, and then plus of 10. So this actually have three distinct roots. One is 5, another one is 10, and another one is 20. Right? So the roots of this quadratic polynomial is 5, 10, and 20. So that means h of t is x minus 5, x minus 10, x minus 20, and then the leftover factors, which is, oh, sorry, t is there, na? So t minus 5, t minus 10, t minus 20. And then we have t plus 5 the whole square, t minus 5, 1. So t plus 5 the whole square, t minus 5, t plus 1. And here 2 minus t cube is there, so you can write it down minus of t minus 2 cube. Right? So this is minus of, now t minus 5. One factor is there, one factor is here, so square. Then t minus 10, t minus 20, t plus 5 square, t plus 1, and t minus 2 cube. Now you can compute the factors, right? If you draw the polynomial, the roots are 5, 10, and 20. So 5, 10, 20, minus 5, minus 1, and 2. So it's minus 1, minus 5, and 2. And what's the degree? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 is the degree. So even polynomial with negative coefficient. So starts from here. So start from here. Minus 5 at multiplicity 2. Jump from here. 1 has multiplicity 1. Cross. 2 has multiplicity odd. Cross. 5 has multiplicity even. So back here. 10 has multiplicity odd. 10 has multiplicity. Okay. Now you compute the turning point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right? Could be 7.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, 7 is the correct answer. Okay, so that's how I have just done it a little fast, but you can just go and check. That's how you can solve this question. Okay, fine, Deepa. Yeah, here you just have to
Okay,
guess
ma'am.
the three roots.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other doubt? Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am. No more doubt.
Okay, fine. Okay then. So that's all. See you guys in the next.
Ma'am, one thing. Can you take that
Yeah.
screen again? What you draw now?
Hmm.
Okay, ma'am. Wait 1 second. 2, 3. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I'll share the PDF over the calendar.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So did you guys got the access of TA sessions?
कैसे मैम?
TA sessions access मिल गया तुम सब लोगों को?
यस मैम. मैम मैं तो मैथ वाला ज़्यादा अटेंड नहीं करता हूँ टीएस सेशन इसलिए.
अच्छा, ओके ओके, ठीक है. चलो गाइस, बाय बाय.
ओके मैम, गुड नाइट.
Good night.
Thank you, ma'am. Good night, ma'am.